Okay. It is Friday, and I have been thoughtful and read a lot throughout the week and talked about it with interesting, smart people, and I am done with that. I'll tell you that much. I am here to enjoy Friday and have a cathartic burst of humor by bringing on a couple of very funny and or degenerate friends of mine that are going to pick over the week's underserved headlines. This if you're new to the program, Wednesdays and Thursdays, that's the flagship intellectual program. That's where you bump up your IQ a couple of points. This is the Red Bull vodka of the program that we're about to enjoy. It being a fun episode and an adult episode, it also is going to contain some swearing. So if you are a tween or 10-year-old listening to this program, don't let your parents know because it's going to have some choice words in it. And we're going to enjoy it with Andrew Young. Welcome back, Andrew Young.
Glad to be here. By the way, I think you should change the name of this from Friday Release Valve to Friday Release Sphincter.
Great. Thank you. Duly noted. Opening strong there with a sphincter joke. Excellent. Good to bring back on Andrew Young, frequent collaborator on this and my other podcast, Alienating the Audience, and John Devore. John, thank you for coming on. John is
I now know what kind of show this is.
Yes, this is a sphincter show. It's going to be nothing but sphincter jokes. I should have told you about that. I want to brag on you for a minute, John. John is an award-winning journalist. He's a very funny guy. I know you primarily as a funny guy. And on top of that, I'll say this. John, you're a great writer. Like, I really enjoy reading your stuff on Medium and the various groups or the various websites that you've been a part of. Like, some of your essays on Star Wars are just fantastic. I was reading them in the run-up to The Last Skywalker, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize that John is a super talented writer on top of being a funny guy.
I appreciate that. I put a lot of work into those essays where I write about my feelings.
And I'll say, like, that's one of the things I like about it is you're very vulnerable. Like, I'm like, this is somebody in touch with himself that's okay exposing some, like, tender dark spots, and I appreciate it as a reader.
Well, I'm blushing.
And Young, thank you for not seizing on the phrase tender dark spots.
Yep.
I really appreciate you holding back.
Oh, it occurred to me.
Yeah, I could tell. I could because I'm able to see both of you, and I could just see just a twitch in Young's mouth where Young was like, nah, I'm going to hold back on this one. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. Okay, so first headline of the week. Town of Asbestos back to drawing board after lackluster response to renaming options. This comes to us from our friends in Canada and specifically our Quebecois friends up there in Quebec. There's a town of Asbestos named after the material that they were originally mining, and as asbestos has become increasingly unpopular as a thing to inhale into your lungs, so too is the name of this particular town. And they got their city council together recently to, they had like a very French-Canadian way of doing it. Of like they first had to form a commission of like acceptable terms and acceptable alternates. And then once that commission did it, they kicked it to the city council. And the four names they came up with were Jeffrey. Jeffrey was the alternate name they came up with instead of asbestos. Jeffrey, Quebec. Phoenix, symbolizing the town's rebirth. Apollone, which is apparently an endangered species of turtle, and Troy Locks, which is a suburb that got gobbled up by it. And when they had the four choices, nobody liked any of them. And so they haven't decided to rename the town. It's just kind of fallen flat. And my initial take on this is, if your town can't come up with more creative names than Jeffrey and an endangered turtle, you don't deserve to be a town anymore. I don't think you should be allowed to have a mayor.
After you, Andrew, please.
Well, I think there's something else at play, Heaton. I feel like the town council is just being safe because the minute they change their name from asbestos, the town will catch fire.
You know, I don't want to root for a town to catch fire, but it would be poetic, wouldn't it? If the day after if it became, well, particularly if it became Phoenix. If it went from asbestos to Phoenix, like if you're an arson in Quebec, you're just asking for like it's a golden opportunity. I mean, it's like a pun is a crime.
Mm-hmm. My recommendation as a hack and as someone with too much marketing experience is that they should lean into it. They should just lean into asbestos. They should, like once upon a time, it was a miracle insulation.
Right.
Remember, put yourself back to last century. Somebody was like, this shit's going to save a lot of lives. We're going to put it everywhere, and it's great. So in that spirit, they should just lean into it. I'm talking about campaigns, sides of buses. Come get a lungful at Asbestos, Quebec. That's my recommendation.
I actually agree with this. I think, in fact, they should even go farther than that and rename the town Mesothelioma.
Andrew, that is correct. That is what they should do. They should be proud of their heritage. They should be proud of their town, and they should turn it up. Mesothelioma, Quebec.
they could like when you come into town, like as a party favor, they could just give out bags of like flour, but call it asbestos. They could there could be signs everywhere that are like, you could smoke here, nothing catches fire. Like they could I really like. I did come up with some alternate town names for this, but I agree. I think they should actually. John's convinced me. I think it should stay with asbestos. But here are the runner-ups I came up with: rickets, seepage, brittle, dropsy, scrumpox, gurgle, bulbous, chunky, and then at this point I was like, it is French, so I need to come up with something else. So I came up with la jowls, la squirt, prostate, and vulva.
La squirt. These are all terrible.
These are
wow.
I feel like prostate Quebec would be funny. Like
you're a very smart man, Andrew, but then you can get gross real easy.
Yeah.
Here's another idea too.
Specifically with terms that aren't horrible but are just uncomfortable. Like prostate's not a bad word; it's just an uncomfortable word.
If they were, if
seepage,
the mayor,
same.
If you right, so if the mayor was smart, he'd take your idea and he would propose seepage or like tumor.
Oh, tumor Quebec, yeah.
And then the people are horrified by it, and then he goes, "At least it's not at least we have asbestos." Right? Who? I mean, I'd rather live in asbestos than tumor.
What are my friends? Do you know Jimmy Fallon by chance, John? He's a funny guy in New York.
Do.
You do? So Jimmy, I don't think I'm going to get him in trouble for this, but he really wanted to name his kid Lincoln, and he knew that his wife wasn't going to be in favor of Lincoln. So for months, he would be like, I just really like Ivan. I think Ivan's a great name. And he was really laying the Ivan thing on thick, Ivan Fela. And his wife was like, we're not naming our kid after a dead czar. Like, I hate this name. And he was like, Ivan's great. And then eventually he's like, what about Lincoln? And she's like, yes, Lincoln. Let's do Lincoln. And I'm like, yeah, there's something to this.
Did it work?
Yeah, the kid's Lincoln Fela. I mean, he still has Jimmy as a dad.
You'd be surprised how many baby names are attrition-based names.
Yeah.
Also good, attrition Quebec. That would also be a good name for this place.
I still like the idea that his wife was like, no, we will not name our son after a dead czar. No. Lincoln's a great name.
Yeah. I'm fine with it. Lincoln's fine. Yeah. I don't think I can name my kid.
Is it spelled like Lincoln Park?
No, I think it's spelled like the dead president.
The president. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I thought Jimmy was a fan of turn of the century new metal.
No, that would be hardcore.
Sorry,
like
I was completely confused.
See that might have been. It could be that Jimmy planned to do that, and then he could only get his wife to agree to Lincoln the dead president. Right. That was where they compromised.
I would love it if he's the world's biggest Lincoln Park stan, and then it didn't even occur to him that there's a president.
Well, and actually, speaking of dead presidents, our next headline
is... What a segue.
Well, thank you. You teed that up for me, John. I could see what you were doing there.
God, you are a pro.
Yep. That's John's bringing the segues. Young's bringing the sphincter jokes. This is how we're doing our Friday. Grandson of Harding, President Harding, and lover once. Let me read that. Grandson of Harding and lover, once president's body exhumed. The grandson of U.S. President Warren G. Harding and his lover, Nan Britton, went to court in an effort to get the Republicans' remains exhumed from the presidential memorial where they have lain since 1927. James Blazing told an Ohio court that he is seeking Harding's disinterment as a way to establish with scientific certainty that he is the 29th president's blood relation. What I find funny about this story is I read through it. Everyone agrees with this guy. Like, all of the existing Harding families like, yep, we found his letter, said he was banging some lady named Nan. You look like Grandpa Harding. Like, you want to come to the barbecue? We all agree. And then did like an Ancestry.com thing, and we're like, yep, you're in it. Got the local county or the history museum to agree to, like, everybody agrees on this, but he still wants to do it, which I like. There was a suspicion in the article, and I think I shared the suspicion that the guy just wanted publicity. And if it works, I'm 100% going to try it myself. I'm going to be like, I remember great-grandma Bickle really speaking highly of McKinley in a very personal way. We should pop that guy's corpse out and let me wear a T-shirt with my show on it while I'm there to check out the body being exhumed. And then it eventually just become a hobby for everybody.
So
that's a lot of thinking, Andrew. that might be too much thinking.
Thank God you guys are here to justify that kind of thinking. Otherwise, it's just me spiraling into madness.
So wait, hold on. I want to make sure I completely understand what's happening here. The guy has said that he is the grandson?
He's the
grandson.
He's the great bastard grandson
Yeah.
of Warren Harding.
And everyone agrees. They all
Everyone
say,
agrees.
yeah. Grandpa Warren got some scratch on the side.
Yep.
And he just doesn't know what this is. Okay. A lot of people don't know when they
on top of
they
that, they
don't
did
know-
a DNA test. Like his existing grandchildren did a DNA test with him, and they're like, "Yep, we're second cousins."
Yeah.
Further evidence corroborating your claim.
So so he's let down by winning, and so he needs to win some more.
He needs everybody to agree. It needs to be the coroner or whoever's job it is to exhume dead presidents. That guy also has to agree.
But they've already done the DNA thing, right? So what are they going to check?
Well, to be clear, they've done the DNA thing with what would be his second cousins, and it's confirmed that they're related. But he hasn't had a DNA test with Harding specifically, so we're doing deductive reasoning based on the probability, rather than an actual DNA test on Harding's corpse to confirm that he is in fact a grandchild. It's theoretically possible that they're cousins through some other method.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I read this, it sounded like the plot of a rejected National Treasure sequel, the Nick Cage movie series, where he is an archaeologist that goes on adventures in American history. That, like his job is to steal Harding's body to confirm this or that. That's what I thought of. And that's my only thought on this story.
I would love to watch an entire Indiana Jones spinoff. You remember there was that kid that was his son that they tried to tee up in the last one?
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf.
And was it Shia? It was Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And
that was when Shia was being teed up by everybody to be like the next big megastar. And one of the things that I like about the guy is that he thoroughly rejected it.
Good for him. That said, though, if they brought it back and it was just, Burt Jones or whatever the kid's name was, and all he does is exhume dead presidents to see if he's related to him, and at the end of every episode, they're like, "Nope, not this time."
And they find the secret link that leads him to Harding's body underneath a teapot, even though Teapot Dome is not based on a teapot.
You know what? I do appreciate that pun, Young. That's a good historical pun right there. That's some
Thanks.
sixth grade history level like recollection going on.
What I don't understand is anyone giving this much of a crap about a president that served less than 2 years and died of like a pneumonia heart attack.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this, Young. Like they're on another Friday release valve that's coming up next week. There's a story about a Belgian woman who is suing the king of Belgium because she is his illegitimate love child, and DNA confirms such. And she's like, I should be a princess, and she's suing him in court to get a title. And I'm like, that makes sense. I would do that if I could, if I could sue my way into getting a noble title. But if it's just like somebody four generations back was a president for 2 years, like that.
But here's the thing, though, like what we're America, no titles.
Right, exactly.
Nothing inherited.
Yeah.
But could he be like, I deserve Secret Service protection?
Oh, wow. So maybe this is his way of tricking the government into giving him a butler? I want a driver.
I'm like, maybe this is how America collapses into monarchy. Because maybe he's like, I deserve to eat at the White House cafeteria for free. I'm the great grandson of a president. I should be able to roll up to my dad's old house and, take some pens.
Okay, so now I'm going to, just to be safe, I think we should exile this man. He is a threat to our democracy. He might be able to pull some kind of pretender Romanov bullshit.
I know the perfect town to exile him to. No one will go. No one will visit him.
Perfect. Yes,
Asbestos, Quebec is our Corsica.
As far as we know, Harding may have died from asbestos.
That's true. You're right. Excellent. Yeah. All right. Well, kind of not too far from asbestos, up in New Hampshire, headline reads, Transsexual Satanist Anarchist wins GOP nomination for New Hampshire County Sheriff. Aria DeMezzo, a self-described transsexual Satanist anarchist, won the Republican primary for sheriff in Cheshire County, New Hampshire last week. DeMezzo, who ran on the slogan, "Fuck the police," noted in Friday blog post that she couldn't possibly have been more upfront about who I am or my position on things. She expressed surprise at the fact that she won the primary, claiming the electorate was completely and totally oblivious to who they were voting for. "I'm running for sheriff because I'm opposed to this very system, and the sheriff has the most hands-on ability in Cheshire County to oppose that system. The system let you down by allowing me, the freaking transsexual Satanist anarchist, to be your sheriff candidate is the same system I'm attacking. I'm sorry, I know it hurts to hear, but the system is a lie." This is why New Hampshire's the coolest state in the union. I am so impressed with New Hampshire right now.
I don't even know what to talk about here. She's, this person is a tremendous American, and
right.
I think they should be celebrated, and frankly, we should have more sheriffs whose platform is "fuck the police," because fuck the police. And
it's very clear. It's not defund the police, and then would call down on it. Well, we don't explicitly mean defund the police. We actually mean shift a lot of the money to training programs. We want peace officers. It's none of that. It's just straight up fuck the police. Couldn't be more direct and explicit about her position on the police.
I mean, she should be respected, and she should be made sheriff.
As anyone that pulls their campaign slogan from a rap album should be respected. I want to believe that.
Okay, so first of all, not knowing anything else about this person other than what I currently read, I am officially endorsing them for the Cheshire County Sheriff election. Because if nothing else, it'll make my life easier because I'm sure additional headlines will be generated, and then at some point I'll go up and interview her.
If she is the future of the GOP, I might have to rethink.
I'd think about it. Yeah, I gotta say, like Senator Transsexual Satanist from New Hampshire replaces Susan Collins here in 4 years or 6 years.
Anyone who goes, I mean, I'm sorry, I know it hurts to hear, but the system is a lie. That isn't a catch. That's not Make America Great Again. That would be a busy hat. But I would follow that. The system is a lie, guys.
The system is a lie is pretty good. We could have like a yellow hat.
Also, she's very nice about the way she says that.
It's because she has truth on her side.
Can I ask, Heaton, do we know who she ran against in the primary for the Republican nomination?
No, and this was my big question. I was genuinely curious as to my guess is that this is one of those situations where the Democratic incumbent just has such a lock that nobody else ran. But if not, I am very curious as to how this person beat out two otherwise, I'm guessing, rural moderate Republicans that might have run.
It says she previously lost elections as a libertarian, right?
Yeah.
So she just changed to Republican.
Right.
And then they were like, all right.
This might actually be more emblematic of our country, that when running as a third-party candidate, people are like, no, that'd be stupid. I'd waste my time. It's like, well, I'm a Satanist and an anarchist and a transsexual, but I'm running as a Republican. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll vote for you in these circumstances, as long as you're plugging into the two-party system, which you are openly contemptuous of, then sure.
Again, this person, I have nothing against them.
Yep.
I support all three. The way she expresses her sexuality, her gender, her anarchism, and her Satanism. I endorse, especially the Satanism.
I also fully endorse this candidate, and I'd say there's like a 20% chance I'll move to New Hampshire at some point, maybe higher, and would hope that I will be defended by this person.
You will be an amazing chief of staff for this person's run for senator.
Yeah. Oh, man. That which would confirm, for a while I had a theory that we were actually living in a sitcom, and then this year happened, and I was like, I think I misinterpreted the Netflix special we're living in. But maybe if that actually happens, it's like an Evil Dead situation where it kind of starts out bad and then it comes back happy and funny. So maybe so, yeah. Going a little bit further south to New York, Town Board rejects name change for tiny hamlet of Swastika, New York. Now, before anybody leaps to conclusions on this, Swastika, New York, the name dates from the 1800s, so it is pre-Nazi. It is the old school term swastika as used by Native Americans and Hindus and things like that as a symbol of luck and peace. And somebody drove through it the other day, a guy named Douglas, and was like, what the hell is this? understandable reaction. Asked the town to rename it, and I think the town was like, "No, we're not going to rename it. We like having this. We don't think we should have to rename it." And I thought, name it Asbestos. That they could do a name swap. They could
swap.
Asbestos Quebec can become Swastika Quebec, and that, which by the way sounds fascinating. Like if they today at this age, if they did that, at least journalists will come to the local diner to gin up tourism. And meanwhile, Asbestos, New York sounds lovely. I would rather be there than New York City during August.
Swastika, New York. God bless them. Well, I just like, again, look, I am a godless leftist.
Oh, I noticed the godless bit when you were most excited about Satanism. I'm our preferred sheriff candidate.
You know what? Hail Lucifer, the fallen angel. But like, if I'm driving through New York and I drive through the town of Swastika, I don't know if it's rational to be like, those motherfuckers named this town after Nazis. I would think, right, that I'd have to pause and be like, why is it named that way?
That's not America.
That's a good point.
America is to knee-jerk react and be like, I think it's this because this is my one familiarity with the word.
You're right. So let me back up a little. Swastika, New York, stop the car, take a can of gasoline at night, pour it, set the town on fire.
Which would work if it was named Asbestos.
See, okay, I'm kind of two minds on this. Let me state up front, I understand why the term swastika is problematic for a town.
Absolutely.
I get it, but also I do get where the town's coming from. If you've got a lot of municipal pride and you're like, look, just because Hitler screwed up this term, we want to take it back. We would like it to become a good thing in the future.
How about this? What if the town of Asbestos calls themselves, as you mentioned, decides that they should be Jeffrey, and I'm driving through and I go, Jeffrey fucking Dahmer? He killed like 13 men. What the hell? He was a vicious monster. That's what's happening here.
Yeah. Well, no. So Young and I are both from Oklahoma, and there's a town in Oklahoma called Slaughterville. And about every 10 years, PETA comes through Slaughterville and is like, "You need to rename your town. This is horrible." And every 10 years, they very politely go, "Hi, nice to see you again. We're named after Frank J. Slaughter, the original mayor of our town. We mostly sell rose rocks and wine. We're not we don't even do that much cattle stuff here." And I'm like, yeah, I'm on Team Slaughterville for that.
That said, for years I used to try to cover the town in pig's blood when I lived in Oklahoma.
That's true. It was weird that was your annual birthday tradition.
It's presumptuous of them to think that it's animals. It could be human beings.
That's
Slaughterville. Exactly. Slaughterville could be a sick salute to America's gross history of indigenous slaughter.
And if that were the case, I think I would be in favor of renaming it.
100%.
If it were just called aren't genocides great,
right.
Oklahoma, I'd be like, we should abridge that.
But we're talking about a thing called context, and context is no fun.
Yeah. Context. What? Okay, with Swastika, New York, what if they maintain the title, but they are all of their municipal festivals are anti-Nazi? It became the most anti-Nazi town in America. Then I kind of feel like it would balance out.
What if here's how I think they get away from it. They increase the town's name length to Swastika, New York, the town named after the Hindi term for the crooked four-sided cross, not the German term for the four-sided cross, which, as everyone knows, is Hakenkreuz.
No, this is great because not only then would it have this interesting backstory, it would also have the longest town name in the United States. So they're guaranteed to get rubberneckers to come through as tourism increases. I think that's decent. Or alternately, just the town motto could be, yes, it's a swastika, but it's going the other direction. Just to clarify.
Do we know if this is this happened before? Because it seems to me, there was that war. Right. And that somebody, and it's not America has openly embraced swastika. It shocks me that it's taken to 2020 for someone to notice that there is a town.
That is kind of interesting. That never, because we were pretty anti-Nazi for sure during World War II.
We have pretty consistently been anti-Nazi since World War II. The whole
there was
country.
There was actually a really big anti-German kick in World War I. Like, to go back to Oklahoma, like we had a town called Germantown, Oklahoma.
Sure.
And they renamed it Freedom because every weekend high schoolers would come and break all the windows in the town. And they were like, this is stupid. Let's just be Freedom. Like, there's a bunch of towns like that. A bunch of people changed the name from,
the Germans founded a lot of... the Germans were some of the original settlers in Texas.
Mm-hmm. And renamed a bunch of their areas, or changed the names from like Schmidt to Smith, and like everybody kind of Americanized. Like I had a great grandmother who grew up speaking German in Pennsylvania, and because her home, even though they were American, they spoke German as a first language. Then World War I broke out, and great grandpa Käsewieder was like, "Nein Deutsch. We're speaking English from now on. We're going to be Kesswaters. That sounds English. We're going to go under the radar." And yeah, it's weird that didn't happen to Swastika.
So, Heaton, what are you admitting?
No, this is pre-World War I German tomfoolery. This isn't like Argentina tomfoolery. It's not like my...
But Heaton, the swastika, as we established, is from the 1800s. So if that can be changed, then in World War II, your family would have changed automatically.
Sure. I know. I was expressing interest that it hadn't changed, not that it necessarily should have changed.
No, Heaton, what I'm accusing you of is unimpeachable.
Okay. All right.
But there was something in that, to sidetrack from my nonsense argument, there was something in that article that said that...
were you accusing me of being a Nazi? What was that?
What?
Were you accusing me of being a Nazi? What was that?
I wasn't accusing you, but I am saying, Heaton, that your pre-World War I family is German.
Okay, yes. Yes.
So extrapolate that from what you will.
Okay, I apologize for interrupting. Please continue.
What I was going to say is they mentioned in the article that soldiers coming home from World War II to that town refused to change the name as well, right?
Yes, I think that's correct, actually, because the soldiers that came back were like, hey, we're from here. We don't want to have to name our stuff just because of the mustache guy.
And also that one soldier said, and also context matters. And in the future, it will matter even more because we're going to get so much smarter.
And that, while that prophecy lay dormant for now.
Yeah. Just imagine, two soldiers, 1947, sitting around being like, let's not change this from swastika because while we fought the Nazis, in the future, context will matter.
And on that cheerful note, I believe we will end today's program. Andrew Young, delightful to have you back on. Thank you very much. John Devore,
thank you for having me.
Delightful to have you back on. You joined me a couple of years ago for another program. And John, do you have any projects that you're working on that you want to plug or mention?
No, I'm just here for the love.
Okay. Oh, you've been choked up there at the end, and then guzzled the Diet Coke.
This made me very emotional.
Yeah, that's what John didn't mention is his boyhood was in Swastika, New York, and so this is a journey for him in terms of memory lane. Well, it was great to have you both on. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.